I got my hand going at it. I started on.
I don't know.
I hope
Environmental.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah, just at least.
Until executive, so that we. Thanks for America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay. Welcome you. Before we get started, is there anyone here with an issue, a question, a concern, or a note that they would like to deliver to this board that is not on tonight's agenda? Please stand and state your name.
Karen Doctor, 109 Stonecrest Drive. I'm here to announce that there will be an election for Fire Commission for tomorrow at the DeWitt Fire Station from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And anyone who is a resident of DeWitt, which of course includes the village of Syracuse and
East Syracuse.
East Syracuse and outlying areas, is welcome to come and vote.
Hey, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh,
Not the bill.
oh, the village is not eligible.
Yeah.
All right, the village of East Syracuse is not eligible because they're not inclusive of the fire district.
Fair enough.
In Janesville.
In James.
Right, and the Jamesville Fire District is not included as well. Is there a location they can find those maps? People, if someone's listening outside or wants to question where the districts,
I know we have a district map. Yeah, we did.
we have one associated.
Found somewhere.
I'm just wondering if, okay,
On the DeWitt Fire. But
yeah, okay, that'd be great. Okay, I'll ask the clerk to take the roll.
Supervisor Mike Galanko,
Here,
Counselors Hood, Hood. Here. Ruck Michelle.
Here.
Stevenson.
Here.
Alex.
Here.
Shirenza.
Here.
And Mannion.
Here.
okay, all right, jump right into it, carrier park update. Tim, I'm here.
I think Terry's gonna make it.
Oh, you want to give it another minute or so?
Well, she's gonna go pick up his wife at the airport, but I can. Oh, and you got that same, you guys ended up having that same summary that I had.
I didn't distribute anything. I don't.
Want me to copy it?
Yeah, I think, Terry had sent it to him.
Did it arrive?
Here.
No, I think we did distribute it.
Yeah, it was like
Was
a
it
couple weeks ago.
the same?
Yeah, a couple,
Yeah.
yeah, we distributed a couple weeks ago, but I didn't have anything for the package. Tonight's meeting,
Nothing's changed since the,
Right.
you provided, right? Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as the site work, pretty much done. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen updates, seen videos, from the video fly through, things like that, which is very exciting. The only thing that is kind of left to be done is some of the GC construction work around the actual center press box pavilion itself. And they should be hopefully done in February-ish, March-ish. Then facility have some level of training for whatever staff to in April to be able to turn over to the town and the users.
yeah, the question, the board, had an issue. Concern over the netting. And I know that it's probably the netting costs and are things we've talked about for years, right? We've got
Yeah, this has been,
basically four diamonds come to a apex right in the center of the project, and you've got the challenged community making considerable use of the park and so on. And the last thing we wanted, as I've explained in the past to the board, was for someone to get hit with a foul ball flying from an adjacent or nearby field, and we'd hold that liability.
correct.
So part of the original design, which the costs have just showed up recently, it was close to $250,000, is that netting. I think there's a couple of us here that felt we have to go forward with that. And then there's some others here I think you need to convince.
Yeah, so, I mean, originally, this has been like a 2007 start, this whole process, and this design has changed and had been, all the different phases, the field has changed several different times, the building has changed several different times. The original design for the protection of the system was supposed to be this trellis. You had envisioned like this wood metal trellis that went completely between all the fields and the clover leaf. That was like crazy expensive. So originally we had value engineered that stuff back out of the project. At one point, Ed was like, we just need to revisit that at some point when whatever we land on, fields, locations, building dimensions, building sizes, we need to come back to whatever that safety protocol is. So the last iteration we put out the bid, that had not yet been designed because the building had not been kind of finalized exactly what happened. So I'd always told Ed will come back to it when we know exactly what we're doing. Everything came in, and then probably 6 months ago, maybe something like
Yeah,
that.
that helps me too. I'm not always privy, or I should be. I'm not always cognizant of where and what the board has been familiar with. But that original trellis design was intended to be covered with solar panels as well. And it was going to help power the park. The park was originally, the Gateway buildings deliberately designed and had a roof angle that would support a solar installation. And these were back in days when we were hearing we're getting $5 million from the county and $5 million from the state, and all that dropped away over time. And so those kinds of expenses got cut.
Yeah.
It would still be the hope, I think, of this board continued in the future that, some of those types of grants come back to this body and that those initiatives go.
So So when we landed on finally everything, I said, Ed, if you want to go forward with the design, it's going to be probably in the $500,000 range. Based on what we were kind of looking at, with the company that's going to be supplying the netting. So after we got through that, we actually got through the whole thing and got through their whole structural design, and they came back with a cost past that. So we were, probably that it wasn't $500,000, but it's more so, we ended up doing some stuff with the general contractor around the actual Center Press Box Pavilion. And then, with the site contractor as well, to kind of do a couple of things. And we're able to, if you guys decided as a town board that you did not want to afford this right now, we have infrastructure in place on the building and out in the site in the field that you could purchase it at a later time. Just know that the clover leaf itself just wouldn't be protected from overhead, fall balls. But there's fencing and netting everywhere else. If somebody's sitting in a set of bleachers, it's just directly in that clover leaf that you would have that protection. So
What would be the angle that it would take for a ball to get into that area?
it would be kind of like would be a straight up pop up that comes down. Usually is what happens. It's not like line drive stuff. Line drive stuff,
Behind the home plate, up and behind.
yeah, it would have to kind of come up.
But that's an area that I
It is.
feel you're gonna have the least attentive audience. There's be people attending the building.
It's you're always gonna have the potential for somebody to be hit in the park because you don't have it's a baseball. I can't, unless it's a dome, I can't completely keep everything within the facility itself. But the home plates are tucked back into the backstops as best as possible, to meet rules, or a requirement. But when you do come to facilities like this around in other states that have big tournaments like this, because you are gonna be drawing, big tournaments, I hope, to this area. Having that netting is gonna protect the kids and people that aren't really paying attention to the fields completely behind them, especially if they're standing there in that one spot and getting hit, which could potentially expose the town, right, to something. That need to some sort of somebody getting hit saying that you guys did protect them. I would recommend that it goes in to make me feel better. Something Ed has always wanted, to have in the park, question.
I was going to ask, where's the contingency budget standing at right now for the project?
That is where I would like to have Terry here. I personally don't have that. He keeps the budgets all up to date.
Okay.
So
He just texted, said he's running like 15 minutes late.
hopefully he'll get here and he can answer that question.
Okay.
What's the question?
What the contingency budget was for this. Ultimately, I'm not sure what your total bond was for the whole project. So somebody asked if there was gonna be any other additional things. I think we're pretty close to the end of the project. So the only other additional things that we have on this list are potential canopy netting. Grover Street gate, or is that actually the Roby Ave extension gate, right? So the gate at Grover and Roby Ave extension was.
Right, there's some stuff that we know is
That's
gonna
not there, yeah.
bring future expenses back to this board. We've made a commitment to the neighbors to close Roby. Verizon most likely is gonna have access to that road. So there's gotta be a determination with Verizon as to where that gate's gonna go and then how we're going to shelter or fence those residents off that have made concerns at that location. The other expense is we just picked up 7 acres from Carrier and we know we need expanded parking. So at a minimum, if you cannot get a donation, you're gonna spend money on runner crush to get some stone into those areas that you need to expand the parking. So those are probably 2 of the more identifiable. And then if there's gonna be a phase 4, things like the upgrade of the pavilion are sitting at $1 million, $2.5 million, somewheres in there in terms of retrofits. And the longer you wait, the more that cost is gonna go up.
May I ask, the fencing, this is portable fencing, yes?
Yes.
Was not,
Which number?
Which one?
on the site contractor, where it has,
Yeah, that's one of the alternate. Correct. Yeah. So.
as you said, the clover leaf. That portable fencing is for that safety.
Good question. No, so the way that the multi-purpose field, we'll call it the larger field, super field, Brent's calling it. So that can be split up into 2 full-size baseball fields or 2 or 4 full-size softball fields. And in order to kind of play those sports correctly, you need to have outfield fencing. This is portable fencing on wheels that actually kind of gets pulled out. Depending on whether you're trying to set up baseball or the 4 softball field. That fencing can be pushed to the side so that you can play soccer, 2 full-size soccer fields. Or football, lacrosse, of that nature, but. Yeah, but that's not it. That's already. What,
Just wondering if that, okay, got it. Thank you.
So the cost,
Yeah.
He's got it updated.
You want-
He's got it
I got
updated.
it updated once. All the back out.
Playing on time?
Yeah. 15 minutes late.
Thank you.
Do you have an estimate of where we're standing with the contingency budget?
Agency budget.
I'm assuming you set aside 10 to 30% for error modifications, unknowns.
This is just the original budget as it stands, okay? Carrie may have had her own contingency budget. I just carry actual cost. That's all I show. I don't know what she has in there.
I was gonna say, I don't know how many of these we've developed over the years, but one of the later, more accurate ones, Kerry Mannion put together with Kerry Fusco. And that, at the time, was a guesstimate of $15 million. Is the number that I remember was budgeted for the park with a 10-15% contingency. And that's what we went into with the bonding. That was roughly the guesstimate. And again, I know my recommendation was to go as long out on the bonding as possible to give the Friends time to raise funds before you convert it into an actual bond. But on an anticipation, you can, but now the risk was, according to the economy, not too, interest rates were greatly rising. And so therefore, we did secure a very good rate. Kerry Fusco worked with the fiscal advisors and law firms to get a very good bond rate. So any of the raised monies in the year or two get put towards the bond. But the number that I've been dealing with and communicating to everybody is 15 million. Talking 14.7 or 14.8.
Anything that's on the bottom of that list can be either added access for additional pricing on some things like the gates for Roby Ave, and then the additional fencing that neighbors had requested. And a couple other quick ones. Well, but that's gonna be it. I'm gonna have to kind of pull it, but that's about it. As far as any additional costs.
That's everything we're aware of at this point.
Right.
We've reached out to all the subs, they've got nothing else. That's it.
We're gonna be able to pretty much close them down.
And again, what's not on there and you're not gonna know, right? But this spring, you're gonna want to have added parking. And so we picked up the 7 acres. That's now real, but that just occurred this week? The finalization of the carrier donation of
Just
the
last week.
7 acres of land is it's over, it's done, right? But that's been several years in the workings. And now this spring, you're gonna want added parking. That's not included in this cost. But foolish not to go ahead and spend the money to add the parking to a $15 million complex when you're bringing people in from all over the Northeast and they come to the facility and they don't have a room to park. So I don't mean to be flippant about this, I'm on my way out, but there are certain things you still got to do to see this through. And you'll make that money back in the long run with a completed and fully built out park. And the better the experience for the visitor, the longer, the more likely that facility is going to be an attraction and the more revenue it will generate. So now and it's easy for me to sit here and say what you should do in the spring is go to the quarry or several of the quarries and say, we're looking for crushed stone for Carrier Park. We can come pick it up. Can you give it to us? I mean, Roselli's done this for us in the past. So has Hanson. None of them like to do this openly and publicly, and this is the only time we seem to talk about these things lately, is in public forums, but the quarries don't necessarily like to be donating in public because everybody's knocking at their door. So they like to do this type of thing without a lot of headline.
I can reach out to some.
So anyways, but there's things you have to get done. There are costs here. Those costs are greater than what's on this paper.
Yeah, parking, sure. So these going to be popular, I'd say that.
I mean, I said it last time. I mean, I don't know how we can not do this. We've stuck very close to budget. I think we've done a really good job on getting the park built. Thanks to Ed and his tenacity for 10, 12 years of pushing this. I mean, we didn't budget for it this year. But we have the ability to pay for it from our general reserves, which are above recommended levels. I'm confident that the Friends group that's still out there raising money will raise the funds, and we still really haven't factored in additional revenue that these fields are going to generate. So in 2026, 27, 28, we will make money on this park that's going to flow into our recreation budget, whatever budget it flows into. But those revenues could be set aside to say, okay, let's pay for the extras with those revenues that we get from the fees for Carrier Park. But I don't know how you build this $15 million park. And they've got a really nice picture on here of the nettings, and I don't know if any of you guys looked at it. But it's first class. It protects a lot of people from flying baseballs that are. If you look at this picture, it really gives you a good idea of what's going on here. I mean, you can't have balls flying back there. I mean, if you ever sat behind home plate at a baseball game, if you're not paying attention, you're going to get hit in the head. So I'm in favor of this. We can manage it from a financial standpoint. And again, I don't know how we don't do it. If you want to put this park up without the netting, all right, we'll probably doing it next year then.
It was never about the netting. It was about the way that this came to fruition. This is significant cost, not only for the town, but for the people that live here. That wasn't identified in the budget, at least. We didn't even have an earmark for whatever it could potentially be, understanding that the design was unknown at the time. So it was concerning. And then a few other things came in after the fact when this is emergency. We have to pay the contractor. They've already done the work. So I just wanted to see you, say hi. Thank you for the work that's being done. It's a great project. And kind of just ensure that we're not going to be getting another significant big ticket item that needs to be completed, but it wasn't at a design phase, so we couldn't price it out. And then we're stuck with another.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the only other big ticket items is pavilion. You mentioned.
If you ever want to.
Millions in the $1.5 million range.
And
it's gonna go up.
Need the parking, so.
Yeah.
The other is just.
I appreciate you coming out and this is very helpful. Thank you. Yeah.
Parking could be greater because we're talking things like, handicap parking along the road. Right, to give the challenger groups access to the fields far away from the gates and stuff. So I mean, there's other additional costs that'll come. And I do think the Friends organization, which I intend to stay involved with, is gonna do some heavy lifting this next year or two.
It's very close to.
Yeah, and if I seem a bit contentious, it's because I didn't hear any of this until public meetings. You know, I would appreciate a call, or we could have set up a meeting during normal hours to go over these types of issues. All right, thank you.
And how did you like to proceed with Roby Ave there on the gate?
Let's get together
The
sometime.
only reason I ask is that.
Yeah.
Amelia.
Jill me, Rock. I tore my meniscus 2 weeks ago and I haven't been
Okay.
moving around well, but sometime, if you're available between now and the holidays, we could get together and
Yeah. She's gonna call me in the morning.
Doug Rock, you and myself.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dylan.
Okay, National Grid 10,000 tree program.
Here for the National Grid 10,000 Tree Program. National Grid developed this program in 1999 to assist upstate New York communities in replenishing urban forest losses resulting from the Labor Day storm. Communities participate by selecting the proper species and placement of trees in consideration of existing utilities. Goal is to plant the right tree in the right place to minimize or eliminate future conflicts with utility lines. So trees must be planted under overhead electric primary or secondary distribution lines to receive credit under the program. National Grid arborist visits and checks out the tree to make sure that it's established. And then the town receives $50 per tree successfully planted from National Grid. So we planted 15 underwire trees in 2023 and 2024. So we'd like to go ahead with the program and try to get reimbursed for those. So that's a resolution I think the board will pass tonight that gives our department the ability to file an application for contributory reimbursement funds as part of the 10,000 trees and growing tree planting program. And upon approval of said request, to enter into and execute a project agreement with National Grid for such financial contribution to this municipality.
Any discussion? I'll entertain a motion from Bernard, a second from Joe. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion's carried. You know, I jumped into the agenda. I'm not sure. Let me follow up with the board. Are we in a position? Do we have 4 votes to carry for the netting?
Okay with it?
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion. From Sarah, a second from Bernard. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion's carried. Thank you. Next, extension of the battery storage moratorium.
Yes, so as you may remember, a little less than 6 months ago, we passed battery storage moratorium because it is not addressed within our code currently. That moratorium is expiring, but we have the option to extend it to up to 6 more months. We made a lot of progress right after we put the moratorium in. Our little task force met. We did have a meeting with developers to take input. We also found out at the end of the summer that New York State was revising the fire code and possibly revising the NYSERDA model law as well that we were planning on using to build our legislation. So we're kind of waiting for some feedback from the fire department with the new fire code, and also to check on that new NYSERDA model law. And then we should be able to hit the ground running in January, hopefully, to get this put into place. But at this point, we're not ready. And so I'm asking for an extension for 6 months on the moratorium, with the understanding that if we can get the legislation ready in less than 6 months, then we pass that legislation. And as part of that, it would repeal the moratorium and we'd be able to get going right away.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yes. There's in the media a lot of concern about battery storage. Has there been or is there questions throughout New York State where there is some shared responsibility to this by county or by city, towns, or is each area, such as town, we're responsible for creating its own storage legislation and
So yes, beyond
information? It just seemed to me it limited. If people work together, perhaps it would be.
So the way the state has dealt with it is through the fire code, basically restricting where it can be. But as you can see in the city of Syracuse, that fire code is, I think most of us would agree, not restrictive enough. And so one of the things that our task force very early on realized that we were looking at only areas that were going to be zoned industrial. And then within that, looking to build a significant buffer around our residential properties that are still within the industrial areas, so that this wasn't going to be put right next to a house and be a fire hazard or an environmental hazard, you know, with pollution, whatever, if there is a fire kind of thing. I would love there to be state legislation for this, but generally the state is permissive when they come with their legislation, like say for the same thing with the cannabis, that when they legalized cannabis, they put restrictions in, but we were a little more restrictive than the state rules. I think if the state did anything for all of the municipalities, we would probably still want to be a little more restrictive than that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have both the village and the fire, DeWitt Fire sign off on this. There was an article about 6 weeks ago in the Post Standard around the battery law and how New York was trying to reimagine what its fire response looks like. And I don't recall if it was a firefighters union rep, but somebody from a fire department had responded and said that they didn't feel it was comprehensive enough.
I did read that. We can talk to the East Syracuse Fire Department about it. Our legislation won't cover the village of East Syracuse.
It will not.
Yeah, so we had not reached out to them so far because the village would have to restrict it on their own. So the areas that we were able to cover would be
And
covered
that's
by the
simply
DeWitt
because
Fire Department.
they're their own fire district, and it has nothing to do with the fact that the village is within the town, this being a fire district.
No, it's just looking at zoning, and the village as its own municipality has its own zoning. So that's why it doesn't cover it.
And there's nothing we could do as a town to set a bare minimum restriction for them. I mean,
No.
they're packed in closer than we are.
You can
so.
pass them whatever ordinance you pass
Yeah.
and say, you know, work with this, just like the NYSERDA law stuff. So
Yeah.
they had something to work from.
Okay.
In extending moratoriums, it's not unique. We've done this several times.
I'm not
It's
concerned.
better to take time and get it right than it is. But we did it with the fossil fuel regulations and the coal gasification plant. We did it with the smoke shops, the cannabis. We've done it with
What can we do with those?
the adult use.
Electric bikes.
Yeah, we did it with adult use.
Scooters. We need more of them. Good old school days.
Okay, any questions from the audience? For those of you that are in, any of his school that are assigned here, what we have is a moratorium on enacting a law that's regulate the large lithium battery storage facilities. As you know, the number one concern with them is fire. So lithium batteries of either small use in airplanes and shipments and transporting, and even electric vehicles have a tendency under certain circumstances to break out into spontaneous fire. So do these large scale storage facilities, energy storage facilities, and therefore the town is looking to regulate it. Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion from Max to extend the moratorium. Do I have a second? From Sarah? I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. Okay, water rate increase. Right.
Taking that. So we were approached by Aqua approximately 6 weeks ago with a 12.5% increase on our water rates. So sat with Carrie Max, and I think Sarah was there, and we talked about a rate increase that we need to pass those costs on. I don't see where we have a choice not to. Carrie and Max want to weigh in. We put a spreadsheet together for everybody. Did everybody get that in their packet?
Yeah. Nice job, Robin. Thank you.
Yes.
That's what you sent out, yeah.
Anybody have any questions, I guess?
Any questions?
I'll just say the board does have the ability to adjust the water rates or amend the water rates by resolution.
And as you know, the spreadsheet is a 15% increase. And again, that we've made millions of dollars of upgrades in our system. Put the SCADA system in place. We've got the 6 water tanks been refurbished. There's a number of valves and the hydrant program, the meter program. So there's a heavy lift being put into reinvesting in the water department. And 15% is probably a minimum of what you're going to see in terms of increased costs. So I'll entertain a motion. Carrie, and second from Max. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. Okay, highway staffing update.
So we have a couple of things on there. We're going to post for an MEO tonight. We had another resignation. I just wanted to give the board an update. So basically we have 12 plow routes. We're short 4 MEOs currently. So we have 8 plow routes in the south and 4 in the north. And currently we have 1 truck parked because we just don't have the staff to man that. And so we consolidated the 7 routes in the south. So you're probably going to see some delays in our response, especially if we get a big snowstorm. We will definitely be a little bit slower than we normally are. With that being said, this morning I had 1 highway guy that did not show up. So I had 2 parks guys running wings. So that means that our sidewalks are going to be delayed in getting plowed. So everything kind of is affected with the highway at this point. Just so you guys are aware of what's going on with the park. Anybody have any questions? We've had 6 resignations in the highway 2025 and lost 1 B operator in the water department, which was a tough loss because it took us 2 years to train that person and get them certified. So definitely.
Did the water
Trying to
department go to another water department?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Yeah, he went to Aqua, to be honest with you.
in some of these highway resignations, they go into private.
Mostly, yes, for money. Yep. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of what's going on, and we have 3 more interviews, second interviews tomorrow. So I'm hoping to bring some candidates, possibly. Maybe I'll ask for a special board meeting if I can get 3 quality candidates lined up. I'll let you guys know.
Hey, Rob, does do it ever get called to support New York State DOT if we have a significant winter event?
No.
Okay, so we're insulated from that aspect in terms of not
Yeah,
having to lend out our monies.
they've wanted us to sign an intermissible agreement, but I don't know that we would ever have the staffing to help them.
Right.
It would be more or less them helping us. But I mean, that comes with a lot of liability. I'm not so sure I'd want DOT trucks in my neighborhoods. I'm not sure you'd want to know what they would look like when they're done,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. That's why it's really hard for us to overcome this right now, because it takes a couple of years to get somebody trained to plow in a neighborhood. It's not like the state and county where they're just driving down the road. I mean, we're in our neighborhoods, there's constant turning, and there's, the roads are not perfectly straight. These are older neighborhoods. That's why we try to put a lot of snow stakes out. So it's definitely a little bit different type of plowing. So.
Well, the first couple of weeks, Rock, I gotta tell you, you guys did a great job.
I feel bad. I'm pushing the guys and
Push the trucks out there and,
they're doing a good job. I mean, but I just, if I lose another guy or two, it's, we're critical right now. To be
Yeah,
honest with you.
I hear you.
Somebody gets sick, it's not even on purpose,
Do you have like a critical response, something or other, where say we are at the point, there's a significant event, but you have to prioritize specific roads? Do you have that? Do we have a policy in place for that?
No, I would probably concentrate on the hilly area in the south, and the north would probably be delayed a little bit because it's a flatter area. So we would probably put most of our resources in the south if need be.
Is that something you'd feel comfortable, should we be in that position, to put on the website in the moment?
I don't think we need to do that. I don't think we've ever had a problem with plowing, and I don't anticipate us. I'm hoping we'll get through this and we can staff up, to be honest with you. But I'm definitely in a position that I've never been in before. Town 4 at this time of the year is rough.
Okay.
Are we having any salt issues like we had last year?
No, not yet. Nope, I'm good so far.
Is it hard to recruit within central New York because everybody has the same need?
It's hard, yeah. I mean, we've been running Indeed ads and trying, you know what I mean? Private sector, I think, is killing us right now, honestly, with 81. So I'd like to post for one MEO position if possible tonight also.
I'll entertain a motion to authorize the posting. Carrie, a second from Sarah. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. All right, the next two items, we'll move on. We talked about the donation. The MOU will hopefully come to us for the next board meeting. Appointment of secretary to the supervisor.
Yes, so I interviewed a candidate. She's accepted the position. Would just like to formally do the appointment now so that she can notify her current employer and be ready to start on January 5th. So.
What's the salary and then anticipated duties?
Yeah, so the salary is going to be $23.94 an hour. Start date of January 5th. And duties are going to be as an assistant to myself primarily, but also to Matt, and be able to screen phone calls.
Help me with some
Things like
basics.
Monday through Friday.
Yep, full-time, regular hours.
Great.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion from Max, a second from Joe. Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. Okay. Great, I think that's great, and I do appreciate Matt picking up help too.
Same.
Okay, set the organizational meeting for January 5th at 6 p.m.
Yeah, so this is just at the organizational meeting, we'll set all of our meeting times for the rest of the year, but just to set this one, it's the first Monday rather than the second Monday. Meeting will start at 6, but we'll do the swearing in beginning at 5 o'clock.
I'll entertain a motion from Max, a second from Bernard. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. Okay, town board minutes of the 24th.
Just the organizational meeting that day and then board meeting on the 12th. Regular board meeting on the 12th.
Yeah.
My calendar.
Yes. Yeah, in fact, in the organizational meeting, you'll reestablish the second and fourth Monday, unless you want to change. You can- Okay, town board minutes of the 24th. I have a motion from Carrie. A second from Sarah. Any discussion? Assume not. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. Okay, we got the check register. November 21st. A motion from Carrie. Second from Bernard. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. Okay, any board announcements? Oh, yeah, I have one. March 21st, and we don't have a time yet, but Jack Dooling was awarded the Wall of Distinction at ESM. So the ceremony, March 21st.
21st, 26th.
Yeah,
At which school?
ESM.
The high
High
school.
school, thank you.
Yeah. They have a wall of fame. Okay, any other announcements?
So time for that?
It does, we don't, there's not an announced time yet, just the date. Okay,
I was just gonna advise that we're meeting at 5 PM for the next board meeting.
oh,
Not 6
yeah,
PM.
yep. That's a good announcement.
Just in
Yeah,
case.
the next board meeting has been scheduled for 5 PM. Then 6 PM.
You would come in at 6.
We scheduled that the last meeting. Your creature of habit could, I could see me forget.
Yeah.
Okay, any other board announcements? All right, I want to thank you for coming. If you need a signature, anyone here on the board could sign your paperwork, but pick another good meeting to come to, these relatively short.
Right? Look, it's 10.
I didn't even know. That's not. I know. We didn't make a motion. did we?
Not yet, no. Is there anything else?
Madeline.
MAD.
Yeah.
It's different every time.
Yeah.
Last name?
Thank you. Have a good day. Lisa.
Hey, I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session from Joe. Second from Carrie. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. But